Oh, there we go. Gosh, dang it! For some reason, my mic was just not working. I guess the setting. Did my mic just like reset every? What happened? Like all my settings just like freaking reset all of a sudden. Like Discord reset. Something else reset. Now this. So I'm just like, come on, really? So that would probably explain why I didn't say anything earlier. But anyway, I'm gonna probably like warm up in 5 minutes. If that anyone who else coming in trickles in. I also need to do some like last minute things, so that works. So how's everyone going tonight? I appreciate all y'all coming into the stream. I know we haven't had a T.C.G discussion stream in like a bit. I'm kind of like doing other things, and this was actually supposed to be like much earlier, but someone wanted to play Melty Blood for a long time. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Just got stuck with a giant amount of Melty Blood play. So, where is it? So let me fix this capture up. I don't know, somebody. See, I think this is the extension. Yep, here it is. Okay, so let's make sure that's working. Alright. Hey, Kronos. She makes me consider my love for Vanguard. We'll talk about that. I think everyone has been kind of reconsidering things, but I think we need to talk about that. So quick question though. Kind of like a pretty like important question. How do y'all feel about this like, I mean, for ones that have been around for a while, like what do y'all think about like the streams being like on like Saturdays, like in the afternoon or whatever time it is for y'all? Because I'm still trying to like figure out like finalize the schedule. So I'm just like, does this work or not? Because I mean, it probably does work considering like every time I do stream around this time it's actually probably like the most active stream I've had. So, I'm just asking everything. So, because I kind of want to keep it here, but it's kind of hard since it's like so, I guess, arguably like late. Paper. It's fine. So, listen, I like Alone Infection, but I think I kind of need to switch this up real quick. This too. Yeah, this will probably do. Just to keep things warm up. Just to get the warm up done. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. Okay. Also a bit of good news, I guess. I am actually, despite my inconsistent, and believe you me, was inconsistent schedule, I'm still just like one follower away from actually like getting the follower requirement for affiliate. So hopefully I actually like put in enough work and get consistent enough where that actually happens. So, but again, I appreciate everyone who did come, who has come to these streams, like has like followed and whatnot. I appreciate it a lot. even regardless of like how much I'm not here. Got 2 minutes. I was gonna have a guest on here, but I'm pretty sure like he's busy right now. So unfortunately, it's just gonna be me and my terrible voice for about 2 hours. So, I think we'll switch the thing. Did I change it? Yep, I did. Okay, I did change it actually. I'm trying to mess with settings, with transitions. Doing like a normal casual thing. That should be like one thing. I'm trying to do like. I'm working on like a specific one, so I'm hoping that like becomes a thing. So anyway, guess it's time to start. So thank y'all for coming. This is another T.C.G discussion stream. We're basically just gonna there's pretty much 2 major things on the docket, which is the kind of like the state of Vanguard and Yu-Gi-Oh! Megatons. So let's see. I'm kind of thinking of which one I want to start with. You know what? We'll start with the actual. We'll start with the Megatons, because that's actually kind of that is somehow the least aggressive one. So we'll start with Megatons, then we'll talk about Vanguard and everything. It shouldn't take long. I say as I ramble around. So, in case you don't know, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Megatons, the big, like, one of the biggest, like, reprint, like, things in the entire, like, game for each year is going to release in about 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, we already know what is actually in the sets. Because it has, like, 3, like, big super packs, right? 3 18-card mega packs. Right here, it comes with a secret rare, 2 ultras, 2 supers, a rare, and 12 commons. And it's 258 cards. So for those of you who don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is probably like at one of its most expensive peaks again. And that sucks obviously for like everyone who wants to get in the game. Like, that's one of the reasons why I can't even, like, play the game, too, right? Because one of the cards I need for my deck is actually, can I turn this down a bit? Let me see what the sound's going. Yeah, I think some, overpowered a little bit, but... Let's turn this down a bit, But, like, one of the biggest things is straight up, you can't afford the game. You can't afford the game, and... some of the biggest staples are almost if not hundreds of dollars for a playset. So everyone was looking at these Megatons to just straight up reprint a lot of cards that just really needed it. Either cards from years back that have like become expensive, or cards from cards now that are just unnecessarily expensive, like Access Code Talker, which to kind of put in perspective, Access Code Talker going on TC player, the card is now pushing 150, around 160 for perfectly one. Well, the only big card hasn't been printed for last year's Access Code. Well, yeah, but also there's like some cards that just like, let's be honest, they'd be printed to the ground. Prime example, Ash Blossom. Let's go to all versions. I'm switching off this track. Okay, that's fine. So like Ash Blossom has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 copies. You know, it's kind of calmed down a little bit, but this is like a 3 of stable in the entire game, and it's still like, well, it's in a structure deck, and it's still priced more than the structure deck. So basically, a lot of these cards just needed like hard reprints, straight up. And so, you know, I haven't really like looked at the actual like prints. Let me switch to rarity. So it's for the ultra rares. So looking at it, we have actually card numbers. That should be better. So we have 3 of the best. Yeah, 3 of the best Agnisters. Arcjet Lightcraft. What the heck is that? I've never heard this card. What is this? You control the monsters, you express summons retributing. What? That's an interesting card to put in the set, but okay. I'm not complaining. I'm not really complaining, but it's just kind of like, that's definitely an old card. That's from Mission Assault? Early last year. Wow. I forgot that card existed. So Arcjet. Rose got a Prismatic Secret Rare. I think no problem you get is I really walk into these. Huh. Becomes very stale since September 4th has changed. Well, yeah, I can see that. I don't think there have been a lot of like lists, right? Like you've had like a couple. There's been like a couple Yu-Gi-Oh lists, and like the one everyone remembers, the last one mostly just took stuff off the list and added in like Sky Strikers and like, you know, gave Salmon Grace something back. So, you know, I'm assuming probably like probably soon, like in the next week or so, probably like next Monday, where Simon has to delay progression again. So, you know, there might be a list there, but for what I've heard like people actually are like, this is probably the most like the most decent format Yu-Gi-Oh's had in a while. But I can see like if it's been a while and like you've gotten a lot of like bans and everything, it feels like the decks haven't changed. I could see, you know, I could definitely see like, yeah, it feels stale. So I get you, Kronos. So let's see, like let me look at the Prismatic Secret Rares a lot. A huge I don't think it needs a huge one, but I think something needs to change. I definitely agree, like something needs to change. I don't think it needs like a giant ban list. Like you just need to cut things down. Maybe like a couple hits here and there, but like not straight up a culling like we're all praying that Premium gets in Vanguard. But that's just, you know, that's my thoughts. The heck is this? Ibisida Lute. What? Cannot be struck by a control monster. Need to play can turn. What? This is another edition Assault card. I've never heard of this. Who are these cards? Like, who are these cards? Where do you come from? Obsessive Uber. What in the? I feel like these cards just shouldn't be here. Where'd y'all come from? Another Ignition Assault. Okay. A lot of this from Ignition Assault. I remember now. So yeah, so a bunch of cards, lots of commons. Gizmet Kaku. Let's close these. Let's go to those. The other prismatic secret rare Cross Sheep. Oh, Dark Templar got a. Oh yeah, the other Indians just got like common printing, so that's actually pretty nice, I guess. Cross Sheep got a prismatic secret rare. Is Cross Sheep even played to justify giving this a prismatic secret rare? It's high as $16. I guess it was reprinted in Armageddon as an ultra rare, so it's just a rarity bump. Don't know if it's a card that needed it, but you know, it's cool. And Nister Island, that's actually a pretty good one because that card is freaking necessary. First edition limited, like this card is actually kind of necessary for a reprint, so I appreciate that. That's an ultra rare. How many ultra rares you get in 2? Okay, so that's actually not bad. That's not bad. I actually like that. Gravity Controller, Ghost Beats Girl, I guess. Yeah. Lingariba, Code Talker Inverted. Princesses, Shiny Black Sea Squatter, Goki Guts. What is that? I don't remember this card. Oh, it's one of the bad Gokis. Okay, I see. Okay, so there's a lot of cards. Malice Lady of Lament got a prismatic. What is that? Oh, that's the card from the structure deck, right? No, it's not. What? Oh, it's from Turning Code. I thought it was from the freaking I know it's from the structure deck because it seems like a card that would be there on that Lair Garden structure. Oh well. Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. Is that a hand trap? Oh yeah, it was. So that got reprinted. I mean, again, reprint the hand traps to the ground. That's all I say. More Invoked, Dragon Maid, Shield. I guess. I don't really know anything about Dragon Maids. I guess if Dragon Maid is like a really popular deck, that's cool. But I'm kind of like, I'm kind of noticing as I'm going through the list is like, these are a lot of like, I'm, a giant like, I know they don't have like the ability to just like, oh man, let's reprint all these straight up cards from like bunches of sets ago. But it does kind of feel like some cards just like, I don't know if all these need a reprint at the same time, so I think that's one of the biggest like things. And then we'll get to one of the things was like they decided to reprint like cards from the structure decks, which got everybody kind of heated because like, why is Uriah Haman Rabiel all get prismatic secret rares when they aren't like cards that even saw play when their structure deck came out? To a lot of people, it feels like those are like wasted slots when like Axis Code could have been in here. What other card? Another Lightning Storm reprint, etc., etc. And then the other cards in the Cross-Like Detonator, which everyone was like, "Oh God, no!" Like, I didn't know this was like a really like important card. Like people were so upset about it, but if they're upset, I guess. But I'd rather be here than like something else. Oh yeah, that's right. Cross-Like Detonator was in the structure deck for Ice Barriers, so they removed it from that to put it in here for randomized product, huh? Yeah. I think just overall, like, I really don't. I'm okay with the tins, but I get why people are upset. that's just the TLDR of it. Okay. Well, like I said, it wasn't gonna take long. It wasn't gonna take long. We got through with it. We're done. Now, on to the other topic. The letter that no. This is actually perfect. This is actually perfect. On to the actual. Actually, hold on a second. Okay, let's see. So this is the letter that shook the world, the world of Vanguard. Here, I had to pull up from Solomon's video where he kind of goes over it. So, you know, but like the original video was with different fight. It's a lot of things, but like different fight went over it originally. Solomon kind of talked about it because things when DF posted this video, things were like, yeah, things are fine in heated Japanese community, but no one really like felt like, oh, like it didn't seem like a big problem back there. And then, you know, he did on stream on Wednesday. Then he released this like Thursday afternoon, at least for us. And so everything was like, okay, well, that's fine. It's like, yeah, it kind of like got discussions talking about over here, but it's like, it's fine, right? It wasn't like we were okay. And then Thursday night, as I'm about to pull up to Wendy's. As I'm pulling up to Wendy's, I'm like, oh, card day is open. Wonder what's happening. I wonder what's happening. Let me go to the subreddit real quick. Where the heck is it? Card day. And then out of nowhere, this son of a gun pulls up. And just messes everything. Oh man. You talk about the worst timing imaginable. This card right here. I know Maury said, oh, it's just to let y'all know, like, hey, y'all could do like special formats of cards releasing this year from now on, right? Nah, dog, we about to rotate. I have a feeling we're gonna use this to rotate, because at this point, this is, whoo. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Let's really just take our time and start at the beginning here. So we're gonna start with the this letter. This was from Miderte, who, if you don't know, is a very predominant like card TCG player. Does a lot of tournaments. He actually runs the Trailblazer site, which I should probably like look that up. Let me go ahead and see. Let me find Trailblazer real quick. Singles descent, yeah. Yeah, here you go. Like this is a this is a website that does a lot of like just like kind of looking up all the Vanguard stuff and keeping it there. So I'll link it in the VOD when it goes up on YouTube. So basically, it's like one of the people that runs this. So it's a site that goes over news, tournament information, and it records stuff like the BFL tournament results. It's actually a pretty nicely well done site. It's just primarily in primarily in Japanese. So there's that. So they wrote this, and to kind of TLDR it, he effectively gives he or they give a big like how do I word this? They basically just say, yeah, I'm feeling some type of way about what's going on with both D and V right now. And for some reason, they're actually like okay with what premium is going on, but like that basically tells me like, yeah, no, you haven't touched premium. You've only, in fact, they only referenced the BBFL without talking about the BCFOs, and like the fact that we had like 3 weekends of all that, and it's like we're fine. Like doesn't even reference it. There's only 6 to Japan, which is like question mark. That it's basically you could kind of just like disregard that for now. But we start with the D series stuff now. This is like Google translated. If you want the what was it that DF used to kind of like talk about it? There was like a translator that actually did it. Give me a second. Let's see. Let me find like the translator he used. Who is doing a thing? It's like around here somewhere. And this is told you, terrible podcast. That would be here somewhere. God, that's not it. It's close to where it is. I think it just jump around here. Okay, hold on a second. Someone's at the door. What's going on? my apologies. Someone's at the door. I took care of it though, so we're good. I actually had it. Like it was like around there. I had it, then I lost wherever it was. Oh well, you know what? Fine, it's cool, whatever. So basically, so as we go back to what we're talking about, effectively, this person wrote it, and he did a giant criticism on overdress. He talks about Bastion being so powerful in the first booster. Then in set 2 when Leonard came out, and then next set was Lyrical came out, and some of those decks were actually pretty good. So he talks about the third booster and the third critical trigger that everyone got, and he had a problem with it because he felt like standard, as he says, like because of standard's low basic guard value, it because of standard's low value, he feels as if the 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 decks will all just eventually like devolve into just playing 11 or 12 crit in the deck in their decks, and there's nothing you can really do to stop it, right? Because you don't have the guard value to compensate for Persona Ride or the over trigger, just like breaking all that shield. Like, yes, you have your PGs, but what PG you gonna? You only have 4 of them. You're not gonna see them all the time unless you're just hard lucky. So eventually, just you know, it just seems like a bunch of power with no real defensive options. It's a lot of points. I'll link it along with other things in the original. But it basically was like he's saying, Bruce and Bastion were messed up with the he were messed up with the actual with the balance of the game. He had some very big problems. He also says some weird things in here, like something about Overdress the anime, but you know, criticizing the Riot Deck, criticizing the Nation Switch and everything. So there's a lot. And then so that happened. Then the community kind of like had a moment like, well, what the heck is going on? And then this card popped up out of nowhere. Then this card popped up, last triple rare of the set, last triple rare for last triple rare, and everyone expecting it to be Barrel Magnus. I probably might actually do like a separate video on this when I actually get the confidence to actually talk about it. But to kind of talk about why this card upset so many people the night of its release, we need to look at all the set up to this point. Each set 3 had the normal 10 triple rares. Like set 1 and 2 do. Set 4 is an outlier. I feel like this is supposed to be the climax set of this arc in the anime. I digress. But that's not important now. But what the set had was a lot of the starters, like start decks, got like more double rare support and common support to kind of help them out. Magnolia got a double rare, Prison got a double rare, Bruce got Diablo's got double rare. Nirvana was gonna get a triple rare. The only exception was Nirvana because Nirvana was selling the separate cards. It's the main character deck was going to get a triple rare. Is going to work on that. And so, but another thing was the status of how the other triple rares are going. Like outside of every other like set one ride deck was getting a triple rare. You had Eugene got a triple rare, which is actually pretty nice. Hexa Orb got one, Zorga got one, and what was the last one? And Orphis got one as well. Every other set one ride line had gotten a new triple rare, that helped their deck in some way, but didn't power creep everything to like the Bruce Sebastian level. Now, then the other triple rares will go on to the 3 ride lines, Nirvana, and something for Keter. Why I don't think anyone was upset with the Keter one, was because the Keter one was effectively just wholly generic. There was no final rush lock, there was no you have to have this many grade 3s on the board. Something like it was generic and you could play it and everything. Because Keter doesn't have the ability to support 3 ride lines. It has Bastion and Hexa Orb, and it technically has PVD, but they said they're not going to support those cards with a triple rare like that. And at the very least, we're not getting more encounter cards until early 2022. I think set 5 maybe. Nirvana Breach better get yours. Well, yeah, I would say at the very least Nirvana was gonna get one because it's the main character's deck was gonna get one. Bastion was gonna get one just off the fact that they were probably gonna make it a grade 3 so that all 3 decks could use it. Bastion, Hexa Orb, and PVD. Right, at the very least, I understand why the quote unquote Bastion triple rare was done the way it was, and it's generic. You probably won't put in Hexa Orb or PVD, but you could, and that's way better than just having it locked to Bastion's name. You understand me, right? That's so much better. And again, then you have the other triple rares belong to Flagberg, Gravita, and Greedon. So it's okay, that's 5 right there. Then every other one up until this point supported the other rounds for set 1. So it had made every other and then every other archetype got a double rare. The start lines got one. So it had set up a precedence that at the very least this has to be Barrel Magnus's, right? This has to be Barrel Magnus's. Bruce is the strongest deck in the game right now. They've had 3 months to change this. If they've had at least 3 months to probably change this or look and see should we release this? Should we probably make a last second change to make this more generic? They had Bushy had all the time to change this if they needed. Hold on, let me take a sip. And then here we are. The last card comes out. And Chronos, like you said, imagine printing a card that negates the counterplay of another card. And at this point, it's like, what? And then this card pulls up. So for those of you who don't know what the card does, it's a Diabolus Returner Derek. He has 2 skills. A continuous on rearguard circle. If you are in Final Rush, he gets plus 5k power. And the second skill is Counterblast 1 and put a rearguard into your soul. Choose one of your opponent's rearguards for every 4 cards in your soul and retire them. Then, if you are in Final Rush, you don't even... It should say, then if you are in Final Rush, if you are anything but Bruce, don't look at the rest of this card. Because it's going to make you upset. Look at the top cards of your deck for each of your opponent's open rearguard circles. Choose any number of your cards from among them, and call them to rearguard circle, and put the rest into your soul. First off, note this doesn't say open, so you just get straight up hard calls. You look at the top card, you basically like a nice scry, choose anything, put into soul. Kind of did a Blau got a thing there, and then you get a, and then you basically get a multi-layer counterblast in a deck that wants to be at Soul Blast 5, right? And you want to have sure you have excess soul to like maneuver and stuff in and out. So this card is overloaded. Let's get to it. This card is overloaded by itself. This card is already overloaded. Its power is only up to Final Rush. Its retire skill is technically generic, but the effect that like something like Barrow Madness would love is still locked to the like decks like Barrow Madness and Green would love are locked behind Final Rush. And then let's be honest here, Final Rush is not a let's keep it a buck. Final Rush is not a oh man, my deck's turned on now. It's a counterblade, so turn 4. It's like no, Final Rush. Like yeah, it's kind of thing. Like you have to wait till turn 4. But with Persona Ride and the fact that these cards are so overloaded, like Leonard and now Derek, it invalidates that because it invalidates the whole wait till turn 4. Let's wait till turn 4. Let's wait till 4 to come. I remember when the problem was giving out the word that was spelled out 2.0. Oh god, the amount of like bitching about that order. Excuse my language, but like the amount of like that order being upset is like really I don't. I understood it. I completely understood why like the order was an issue because it was basically a buffed up hell dive. To me it wasn't that bad. Right? I was like, okay, that's fine. But like again, the whole genjutsu that Bushiroad put on us of this is they're not getting another triple rare. Every other set 1 ride line is gonna get their triple rare. Again, they put that line on us. Like they had loaded us into a security. They had put us with the genjutsu. They used the smoke screen, and in 11th hour, here it is. Here's the card that finally probably broke the community. That started the process of just hard breaking the community. I had to do some stuff on Reddit to make sure like, oh, you know what? Y'all just put your stuff in there and just like vent for a minute. Cause I understand y'all. Like I'm not even gonna go over the other 2 cards, but you know, by itself the card is already overloaded. Then you get to the other point of, well, now you've also made a false insecurity because you made it like, oh, Barrow Madness is gonna get a triple rare because all the other set 1 decks have. And before people were like, well, what about the set 2? Like, Eugene and Hexalord didn't get one. Well, one, they got whole new Rylines in the counter cards, and two, what that still doesn't mean that the other Rylines still didn't get triple rares. The other Rylines still got triple rares. This is an awkward exception because of how they wanted to brew encounters. Even with that, that's still that's still two clans, still two nations, which are still really clans part 2, but it's like there's still two nations that, you know, are usually going to get support regardless. And hold on, let me rephrase that. There's still two nations that at the very least that didn't get the triple for the run line. But what does that say about Magnolia not getting one? Brentgate Prison not getting one, and and Zorka getting one. I mean, Zorka got one, even though it got another one last set. Orpheus got one, even though it got one last set. Like, there's no real excuse for this card being printed unless they legitimately didn't look, unless they were like, okay, we'll put in one more for Bruce. It might be underperforming because it's having to like do its stuff later, right? This card, this entire, let me see if I can find it. Standard, like, where's the can I find like report data, standard. Can I find like again, you can also come in like this. I'm trying to find where the it's not like a, I could have sworn there was like something that like gave like percentages for like tournament wins. What on earth is that? Hello? I want to hear y'all. Get out of here. Did I like accidentally like start some videos out of nowhere? Like, what's going on? That's definitely something. I accidentally start like all these videos for some reason somehow. How did this happen? Okay, weird, but whatever. No, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna make a separate video. Search the swine skin and double rare. I think Magnolia needs like something that like would like help its problems. I don't think a triple rare for Magnolia is just gonna like fix all its problems. I think you need multiple cards to fix some of the problems Magnolia would have, or Sarah Snow or Eugene would have. Cause I'll say this. When this set was almost done, literally right before this card released, I was actually kind of like, in fact, I told this on a different fight stream like that, the morning after this card was revealed. I was like, you know what? Were it not for this card, I was actually like saying this is actually probably like the best or second best of the 3 boosters so far. Or rather, the one I like the most. Because again, all the other like several of my lines got really good stuff. We knew Nirvana was gonna have to get theirs because it's the main character deck. I was like, after that, I'm like, okay, Bash has to get one because there's no way they give the Shadows right line another way, right? That would have actually like tipped me off. I'm thankful like the quote unquote Bastion one was actually like generically good enough to be just, you know, to actually be generically good. It's just this one card just kind of single-handedly like set the entire community afire because, again, straight up broke the whole set one Wildlands game support because they had three archetypes. I feel like it just kind of like went on another rant on that. I'm sorry, friends. I was kind of like talking about this, but like I think what they did, for example, with Eugene, right? They gave it an order that like gave it value for doing what it's supposed to do. It gave it a pretty good triple rare, right? That triple rare was actually nice. It wasn't completely overloaded. It did things it needed to do. It did a lot of good things that would help Eugene work and like make value. It had some other cards that just gave Eugene more value. It shored up the problems, issues Eugene. It helped shore up the issues Eugene had without busting it wide open, right? Because I think just Eugene as a deck is just fundamentally flawed, but you can still kind of like give it support to actually have it be worth something, right? You can have it be like the mass retire deck to straight up like to be like a control-y deck that, you know, gains advantage. Like I know people talk about like, oh, Eugene best deck, but like you could have one of those days where like Eugene might be one of the best decks because it's an anti-meta deck. It could legitimately just be one of the best decks for that period of time. So that's why I think about Magnolia needing a tripper. I don't think Magnolia needed a tripper. I just think Magnolia needs something to like give it just a bit more advantage, and not just like fall completely flat to retire. I think, you know, getting controlled is like a really like fine thing. I know Flagbird just came out too, so it's kind of like, I don't know about this one, Chief, but you if you understand what I'm talking about, like I'm gonna, it's kind of like that. I think Seraph Snow is also fine with getting double rare. I don't think you need to like hard press Seraph Snow. But yeah, when this card got revealed, it just added salt to the already like hurting wound that this letter had already like pulled up on. Like just looking at the Reddit like thread of the card release, you could just tell like people were upset massively. What's this? Oh yeah, this is the Trailblazer Discord. I mean the Twitter. So now it kind of like made this whole discussion about you know, what's the state of Vanguard? And I'll be state of Vanguard, rather what's the state of Overdress? Because Premium is like, we know Premium is going to get like something, because they literally told us we're going to get something like next week or so. V seems to finally have gotten itself in a good spot now, thankfully. It only took until like we had to reset again for it to happen. But the only like real outlier is to me Overdress, which since it's supposed to be our main format, that's kind of a problem. You know, but she was talking about like, oh, we didn't do stuff new because doing so meant like, oh, we were scared of like doing new things and everything. And so it would be really bad if we're like 4 sets in, no one wants to play over. People are like upset with Overdress. They're all moving to V and Premium. Should Premium get itself taken care of? You know, go back to the old nostalgic formats, and they take the fact that like D isn't doing too hot as like, dang, did we make a mistake of just not just continuously like re-supporting all these things in this new format? Did we mess up? Did we take the L on this? Just go back, like. And I definitely don't want that, because it took us 10 years to finally move forward with this game, only for 3 sets in, the community is breaking itself into 2. That's not what we need. Like, I haven't really talked about excuse me, I haven't really talked about my personal feelings on Overdress, but like, I was fine with set 1. I was like, okay, let's ooh, that went down. I was fine with set 1. I thought set 1 was okay. I haven't been able to play set 2 due to personal reasons. Haven't been able to go to locals, haven't been able to like fund like getting new decks and stuff. Or rather like updating my decks and whatever. I at the very least I'm probably gonna like update Prison, because it seems like it's gonna be cheaper to do so. So there's that. And then now we're at set 3, and people are starting to really get heated and fed up, because they're like, what was the point of all of this if we're 3 sets in and this is the state we're in? Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to actually do like a straight hard video on this, because man, I'd like go and like write my personal thoughts on things and whatnot. Not just off this video, not just off this thing, but off of just thoughts I've been having for years. Because again, another thing I said during Chris's stream was, I feel like this card, and it's ironic because it's Dark States, but this reminds me of when Gear Chronicle, specifically Chrono Jet and Time Leap, kept getting good support constantly. What it needed to do was also add to these other like nations. I mean, not other nations, to other builds. Idea Drones, Chrono Fang, Zodiac Time Beast. Well, Zodiac Time Beast was just barely starting, and it eventually did get there. But you know, the legions, like a lot of the cards in Gear Chronicle were just primarily focused on Jet and Time Leap, and it was like, all these are all good cards, but like, what did Fang get? Fang got Rebellion, which was basically a +1, including its stripe checks, and not including like stuff like the crit or Orator, like making up the difference. And I think it's also reminded me of Header Round. This Header Round is like the Header Round for D, because again, a very, very powerful card, because Header Round at the time was very good. Heck, I think it's still like decent now. You know, that's just kind of the issue with premium now, because things are just kind of evolved to an unsustainable level right now. I also want to talk about that later. But like, it's a card that like, yeah, this is a really powerful card, but it's only locked to effectively one deck when it didn't need to be. Like, we got a generic G-Guard Patero Chimera, but it was Counterblast 1 to bottom deck a back row rear guard. While Header Round literally Soul Blast 1, something Jet doesn't really use that often, Soul Blast 1 to then get a spin, shuffle their deck, they call the top card, and basically just like mess with the opponent's like battle sting, right? You're messing with the attack. Right, that's a lot of power to just lock to one thing without being generic. I think they could have made it Header Round generic. And you know, so this is also the issues. Like, this is the Header Round equivalent of D, but it's worse. It's arguably worse, because unlike back in D, unlike in G, where we had at least like 5 years up, and this is the only like issue. How am I trying to say this? I'm trying to think of how I'm trying to like phrase this. It's overdress shouldn't have this problem 3 sets in, where there's a bunch of overloaded, powerful cards that only belong to one deck in a nation, and it shouldn't have the community in an uproar. Like, as much as we like talk about, man, Time Leap was so toxic, and all the other like buzzwords we talk about, like card decks and cards you don't like or feel like are very, very powerful and need to get hit. Time Leap cards were never so overloaded individually. Like you could talk about Melum all you want, like, oh, she puts attacks for 11k unboosted, puts herself back and then gets grade 0. Yeah, she attacks and boosted, but she goes back and gets grade 0 at rest, okay? That's understand. That's like not really that bad. Then you have like I'm trying to think of something. Not Time Leaper. History Maker. Then you have History Maker, which just attacks for 9k, has to be at GB1, but counters one to Time Leap. That's not anything special. Urwater is a really good card, right? It's a basic. Where's my knee feels weird. It's a very like nice like it's a nice hand filter, deck filter, whatever. But it's still a grade 0, and you're removing a trigger to do so. And TikTok Worker is just basically like a end about Time League, which that's powerful and obviously got restricted, but it wasn't like the end all be all. But you see what I mean, right? They were never like all together. They were never like all together. They were never like individually as overloaded as this card was. Where, like they were all powerful together. This is a card that is powerful by itself. And then you added to the fact that it basically shows up the one counterplay weakness of Leonard. It's a lot, and it's kind of like disappointing how much this card basically just like changes the fact that one of the most like format warping cards in Vanguard in a long time. Well, I wouldn't say like in a long time. Like I say, like Loire was very format warping, and Gurgrid and Percival format warping, but it was more like a sum of the. There were mostly. Excuse me. There was like I would say it's more like a Loire in the main situation or a Gurgrid Percival situation, where like those two cards just like show up the weaknesses of those clans. And the fact that we have now done this again is very disappointing. And now the community has basically just kind of like been like, do we really want to play right now? Like, I think what will change this is depending on what is in that restriction list. Like, we know Premium's gonna hit, but is like Overdress getting something? Is V getting something? Because V still has problems. Like, we still have the issue of Loire is still pretty strong, and Prisms right now are apparently the best deck in the format. Like, so much so it's not like Loire powerful, but it's like kind of it. It's kind of like Like, Loire's thing was like it had just so much power to it. Prism doesn't really have the power, but it has like it's more well-rounded. Whereas like Loire just like straight up smacked you hard and fast. Like it didn't have defense, but it didn't need it because it still just kills you so fast because of the main and all that in the bendy stuff. So I really just hope that I'm more like interested in like what they do with D and whether or not they address the controversy that has been happening. Because I know Mori is going to like look at this stuff. Like he's looked at it all things. Like he's addressed like the negative things. I want to see what they do. Right? I think set 4. I don't know if they could have enough time to like change set 4. But I think like a lot of like probably like set I think they could probably do like a last little thing for set 3, like do like some more like double checking. But like if set 5 is bad, if set 5 is a mess, I don't know if people stay for Overdress the way they say, things are low here and there, but it's been expectations. And I know that's been a meme too. Oh God. Oh dear God. Please don't let that be a meme again. So that's something. I really wish I didn't have to like talk about it and then do another video about it. But hey, that's cool. Whatever. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything like I have besides that. I don't think there's like been like anything crazy. So yeah, I think just cut the stream here. There's not really anything like that crazy. I think that's just pretty much it. So again, thank y'all for coming out. I didn't even talk about the bi-weekly thing. Well, actually I did. So I was like, this is one of the reasons why I was like, this should be bi-weekly from now on, because I need time to actually like look and find like new stuff for T.C.G stuff, because I know there's like a little like bunch of like mini stuff here and there, but I wanted this to be like a more generic T.C.G podcast. I need like time to kind of like scour and look through stuff, kind of like get more info. I think we should have more info on Recross and Build Divide. That will probably up next time, unless like something changes. I will probably do like an emergency stream on the I say emergency, but it's more like an impromptu stream for the Vanguard restriction list. So that will be a thing. I'll let y'all know when that happens, because we need to actually like talk about it, discuss it, because man, that's gonna be something. Especially if that premium side ain't like half the top decks get hit and like some potential like stuff there. But you know what? Perfect track to go out on. So with that being said, thank y'all. Thank y'all. I will try and get another guest on, because I thought Xenoborg being on last time was actually fun. So I'll try and get another guest next time. So thank y'all for coming out. I will see y'all. Let's see. On Wednesday next. We will probably be around October 2nd for this specific stream. I also have some other streams I'm like setting up. I know I'm probably gonna do like a back-to-back stream day on September 30th and October 1st, because both Multi-Blood Time Luna and the Legend of Heroes Kurono Kaseki both come out that day, basically like that day. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is Thursday we're gonna do like a long like stream of Multi-Blood, and then that Friday, depending on what else happens, because I'm still like in like this transition period because of personal family circumstances. Where Friday, if I can, probably gonna stream Kurono Kiseki. I'm don't know if I'm gonna be like continuing from there, whatnot. But it's something. I know I love how I made this entire discussion. Of, oh, here's what I'm gonna do at the end of the stream. Uh, it's just short stream. Something to kind of get some thoughts out there. I'm gonna probably release a longer video with my own like composed thoughts on everything. Probably like sometime this week. And I am gonna get into like when I finally finalize the schedule. I'm probably gonna post it on Twitter, have it official, like nice and done and well done, etc. etc. So okay, well I think it's pretty much it. Thank y'all for coming. I'll see y'all. I don't want to say Monday. No, not Monday. Probably Tuesday or Wednesday, just for like a casual like stream where I probably stream more fighting games. So on that note, thank y'all for coming. I'll see y'all next time.